Hi guys, welcome back to another 1.14 Skyblock episode. The plan for today is check on the Wither Roast farm. We also have to add one extra module to it to make it safe if the server would restart, but more about it later. And then we can also start designing our main storage in creative. So first let's check how many Wither Roses we have so far. So we got one double chest full of Wither Roses, second double chest of Wither Roses, and the third one is also now partially filled. So in total that's about 200,000 Wither Roses right there. And that's not all of it. A lot of shulker boxes have already been brought over. So I guess it's safe to say that this Wither cage does work reliable, but we ran into a little issue. So leaving the area with the Wither is actually fine. We can just drive away with the boat and come back, and the Wither would still, or at least the main head would still target the village on the right. But regardless if the area is loaded, if the server restarts or not, the Wither or the main head would lose target of the right villager in that case. So we need to come up with something in order to prevent it. So the way I fixed it the last time when the server restarted was I removed the block here on the right that at the moment blocks the eyesight of the main head, restarted the server again. The server operator can do that, and then it was fine again and I placed the block again. But it's not really that great, and I also definitely want to make a system that would work in case nobody is there that could restart the server, or just in general if somebody wants to build a farm like this on a server they don't own, so they could also use this machine. So we have to come up with something. I think the easiest way, which was already mentioned in one of the last episodes, is if you leave the area, remove the block here on the right, and then quickly unload the Wither. But there's really a small chance that one of those black skulls the main head shoots would, well, it doesn't shoot a black skull, it shoots a blue skull instead, which has a 1 in a 1,000 chance to happen. In this case, we would destroy some of the blocks here on the right, we have to replace it. So no big deal, there's a really small chance that might happen. And in case you come back, then you just push the block in front of the main head again, and everything is fine and it works like before. Another issue would be if you forget to do that in the server restarts, then you would either need to restart the server again, or we need to come up with a way to reset the Wither. This will probably involve moving the left villager away so he loses track of that one, the main head that is, and then quickly also pull up the block here and make the main head track the village on the right again, then block the main head's vision again, and we need to then move the other villager back so that the side heads start shooting at him again. We also still need to use those two villagers, at least I don't see a way around it. So if you would block basically the main head here on the left, that would also block the side head's vision. So I can't just put a block in the middle, it would block the main head. Since the Wither is actually just one block wide, I can't really show it right now. So it all really depends on the main head's vision, if the side heads can see something. A bit weird, but it's how it is, so that's why we have to use those two villagers. It would be way more convenient if this would be separate, then we could only use a single villager, but that's just not the way it is. The last couple of days, whenever I had some time, I was working on this general Wither cage design that you could use to break blocks as well. So you could push in cobblestone here from the side, or logs or something similar. Then if you would trigger the suspense here, the Wither gets damaged and those logs could be broken. And here I also added a reset system. So the problem is you would, for example, restart the server or log out in a single player world, and you forget to give the main head direct eyesight towards the villager. So this case here, then the Wither would track this villager on the right, and we have to reset it somehow. So I could either do that by now removing the obstacle and restart the server again, and in case you can't, then you would need to add this reset mechanism. So we just drive away the villager on the right here, give the main head direct eye contact with this villager. So now he tracks him again, and then we block the vision again. Main head is still tracking that one, and the side heads are now attacking the one on the right again that just came back. So this would be a reset mechanism. Of course, there's always a small chance while the main head is able to shoot skulls either at the left or right one, that one of those is a blue skull, but it really shouldn't break anything that would cause the wizard to get loose, really. So it should be fine. It's just in case you forget it or the server crashes or restarts at the wrong moment. I'm not sure if we want to add that in survival, because now we have 250k wizard roses. I actually doubt that we're ever gonna use the farm again. So I think we should just add an option to either open or close a trapdoor or move a block in front of the wizard, and that should be enough. Every time we leave, we just have to activate that mechanism, and also when we come back, we have to activate it immediately again. I think that's enough for survival. Just one last thing I quickly want to show, basically demonstrate the side head problem. So if we would block kind of the side of the main head like this, then the side heads also contract the one on the right. So that's why we definitely need villagers on both sides. Back in survival, I added the redstone line to turn the main head vision on and off. Obviously I put the switch quite far away so we can leave this area quicker, since the longer time we spend with the main head vision not blocked, the higher the chances that we get blue skulls, of course. Right, time to finally leave this area. We spent quite a lot of time here, but it was also quite successful since we got so many wizard roses. Alright, so here that was just those slime blocks since the ice melted. So here we have the on-off switch, also put a sign there. Let's quickly break the boat and place it on the other side, so every time we get here, you're getting stopped. Inventory is full. I'm also bringing over more wizard roses, and now we can flick. No! What did I do? Should not click with the cactus. Okay, now we can turn this off, and now quickly leave the area. And the next time we come here, it should be fine, hopefully, even if the server restarts. Now that we have the materials and some time, we can work on a larger project that I'm dying to have, a new main storage for the whole server. This is definitely going to be a quite complex project. Might take a couple of episodes until we have it finished, since I think in 1.14 there are about 800 different items in the game that need to be sorted. So the first thing we actually need to do is categorize all of those items. For example, all the stone related items in one corner. So once the storage is finished, you don't have to search or run across the whole storage all the time in order to get similar items. And also so much easier if you just have to remember a couple of groups like redstone components, mob drops, food items, instead of having a different sorting system. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna put up some item frames and try to put all the items into groups, and later we also have to decide if you want a bulk storage solution for that or just a normal chest sorting, where we basically just put loose items in a chest. In a lot of cases, it doesn't make sense to start with shulker boxes, since a normal chest or double chest can hold about 4,000 items. It's in most cases enough, but for some items that are used all the time, like cobblestone, we definitely want a shulker box system. So this was a lot of work and actually also quite exhausting, but I think we got all the items in the game categorized. Had a lot of help from Solly and iPlaceBlocks. Thanks a lot for that, because it was quite a job here. Okay, let's quickly go through the categories, what we got. And Eric can mention that in some of the cases it's controversial where to put an item. Some of the items would fit in 2 categories or even more sometimes. For example, here the rabbit's foot. We put it to the brewing themed items, but the rabbit's foot will also fit together, for example, with the leather and the rabbit hide, so the passive mob drops. So sometimes it was a tough decision how to group them, but I think in the end this is the storage we want, the items close to each other. Still need to make the decision whether what items you want to store in bulk. Let's quickly go through it. So we got 8 light sources. I think we got all of them pretty much, so the main light sources. Then brewing themed items. Here we have workstations and various container blocks or tile entity blocks like beacons, anvil, chest, and all the workstations here. We also put the items that we currently can't get into in Skyblock into the item frames. For example, at the moment we can't get the enchantment table, but we're just gonna reserve a slot in case we at some point decide we wanna add it. So yeah, just gotta keep some spaces open. Then our next category is a huge one. Those are building blocks, and here we can subdivide it into, for example, the endstone blocks, the nether seamed blocks, like red nether brick, etc. Then prismarine blocks, purple blocks, quartz blocks, ice. Then, for example, where do we put the kelp block? It's kind of a building block, not really food. That's why I put it here. Scaffolding as well. Some of the items, they don't really fit well into an own category, so just put them into miscellaneous building blocks at some point. Right, then we got the items that you have 16 different colors of: wool, glass, concrete powder, etc., terracotta. Then mining seamed items. Then here we got 16 items that are one wood color. So this is for birch. We need this for the other 5 wood colors as well. Then there's also a huge category. Those are plants like vines, sugarcane, cactus, etc. Flowers. Then there's actually 20 coral items in the game and 10 coral blocks. So in total 30 coral items. Kind of crazy. Next one is the redstone components. Some of the cases it was also a tough decision. For example, we did not put the pressure plate in each wood color into this category, etc. So this is add the wood items. So buttons and fence gates. Next one is food items. There's actually quite a lot in the game. Kind of funny since you only need one, just a steak. Then next one is passive mob drops. And also kind of water mob drop and hostile mob drops. Last one are miscellaneous items that didn't really fit into another category. Could also argue that maybe the mob heads fit in there or the nether star, but not really. And here we have random wood items. Okay, so the next job is actually to decide which items or blocks we want to store in bulk, and there will be some tough decisions because I really don't want to have too many items stored in bulk, since this also results in more effort to build and also more lag. Since for the bulk storage you already need like 30 hoppers just to get one slice. And for the other items that we don't store in bulk, just in loose items, you can probably have like 4 chests with different items, like in the Scicraft main storage per slice. Alright, so let's do the categorization next. Then we can already start with the actual layout, how we want to sort the items, and then we can decide on how we're gonna design the storage. We need some components like item filters, what are we gonna do there, which bulk storage type, etc. But I think it would be probably best if we end the storage project here and work on something else in survival real quick, so that we don't have too much of the creative project in this episode. Next, let's work on the Ghast farm a little bit, so we can finally put those wither roses to good use. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how large to make the farm. So we're definitely gonna use the design from I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. So wither roses and then a light source in between in order to prevent the zombie pigmen spawning. Alright, I'm quite sure we need to make this farm quite large, since like 95% of the spawn attempts are pigmen and the rest is just gas and magma cubes. This farm is now built as low as possible, but I'm still quite sure we need to make it this huge. Right, so let's check it out. Let's do the mob spawning true. And then we can check with the carpet mod how much of the mob cap is filled up. So at the moment we got 67 of 70. And ideally this should always be around 50, 60 or 70 most of the time. So yeah, this is definitely looking good. I think that is approximately the size we want to have it. Okay, now I drop down. So there will definitely be a slight advantage for making the farm even larger, just to fill up the mob cap even quicker. But I think we can probably go with this size. Right, let's also check how many items we're getting. Let's reset the counter real quick. So I'm having a command block here that can teleport the items onto this hopper. Let's reset that again real quick. and I guess I'll just do a 5-minute test to see how much we're getting. One thing is certain, this farm is crazy. We just look at it. This is gonna be so much faster than the first Ghast farm we had. It's just ridiculous how fast this is. Alright, let's check out the rates. So we're getting almost 7,000 Ghast per hour, about 14,000 gunpowder, and 5,600 magma cream as well, which is really nice just to get magma blocks. This farm is ridiculous. Alright, yeah, I guess we can actually build with quartz blocks now. If you smelt all of those Ghast we get 1 quartz. That's the custom Skyblock carpet rule we added. So we get about 1800 quartz blocks per hour with this farm. This is ridiculous. Okay. Wasn't really a big fan of the mob spawning wither roses, but for the Ghast farm, I kinda like it. Okay. Yeah, there's just one problem. You can't place those wither roses on all blocks anymore. I remember when they were first added in the snapshots, you could place them on hoppers, you can place them on pretty much everything, but now there's just a small range of blocks where you can put the wither roses on, and we don't really have a lot of any of those blocks. So the blocks that would work are the dirt blocks, so yeah, dirt, coarse dirt, pot soul as far as I know, grass, etc. Then soul sand obviously, and the last one is netherrack. Okay. The problem is currently we can't get any dirt since the server is still on 1.14.3, and there's a bug in 1.14.3, so vanilla, that silverfish spawners don't work, and those are the source for our gravel. So at the moment we can't produce any gravel until we update, and that means we also can't make any dirt. So we're using the coarse dirt mechanic, 2 dirt plus 2 gravel or 4 coarse dirt. So at the moment we can't get any dirt. Then we only have 2 other options. Either we try soul sand. So we have the mechanic that if a mob is getting killed by fire damage on top of a sand block, it converts that block into soul sand. We can try that, or we can try to do it with, or we can try to get netherrack. I think we need a fire charge that shoots into a cobble block. Let me quickly think about what we want to do. Back in survival, I've been asking around a little bit, and we already have a semi-automatic soul sand farm. So the way this works is, we need to put a fire block on top of the sand block, and if a mob dies in there, which could also be fall damage, it's probably not entirely how it's intended, then the sand block gets converted into soul sand. Right, the farm is semi-automatic, so I think we have sand dispensers here in the back. Well, at least it would make sense. Can't really reach it right now. And there we go. I had to cut out a bit of swearing right there. Now we have to re-equip, and I would have needed to come here anyway in order to get a shovel, because the player is supposed to mine away the soul sand. Alright, I'll try to get emeralds and trade for my stuff back. Took about 10 minutes, but I got some good tools back and some basic armor. I really don't want to buy anything fancy. It's so rare that I have to fight mobs or something similar, so it's really not worth it with the amount of times I fall in the void. Alright, now we can dump our emeralds in there and get in crafted into blocks. Pretty sweet. Back at the semi-automatic farm, so we've got those dispensers that I don't want to try to reach anymore. That would place sand blocks. Those dispensers we have flint and steel. That puts a fire block on top of the sand. There, the sand is getting converted, and the player is supposed to AFK mine there. And so far we got 2.5 stacks of soul sand. So you can turn it on here. It runs just on a normal clock. And let's mine a couple. I'm quite sure you can see the process. Yep, there was the fire block. Pig will fall down. I think it's a bit chance based. Yeah, here at the bottom, in case a sand block doesn't get converted, it just drops and is getting collected by those hoppers. Right, then got a AFK quite a lot here. We need about 3,000–4,000 soul sand approximately. That's gonna take a while. I think it's a good point to end the episode. The next one, we're gonna obviously build the Ghast tier farm, the new one, the fast one, and then also work on the main storage. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.